Let's hit it. So, a Black House autonomous zone. Let me go ahead. Well, yeah, I'll try to do it on the Twitter here. Let me see here. We'll do breaking 911. Breaking 911. No. Okay, here we go. Sorry. Ooh, the heartburn's already acting up. Sorry. Don't get old, kids. Okay, so let's talk about this Black autonomous zone. See, they might as well just call it IHOP in this case. Yeah, go back to the international the International House Autonomous, House of Pancakes. Exactly. I mean, yeah, they might as well just change to IHOP at this point, kind of like Chop. Anyway, I was trying to make a joke, didn't work. Anyway, so let me go ahead and explain a little bit here. Okay, let's go ahead and show this right quick. So, here we go. We'll just show this brief little video here. So this is how what they're trying to do in Washington, D.C. People's Fence. I don't have my headphones in. I didn't feel like it. Should I find them? Nah, I'm not going to worry about it. So as you can see here, they're trying to block it off and everything. Now, the closest thing I can speak to in Washington, D.C., when this type of thing happened. Now, of course, mind you, this probably won't be the right context and probably, be like, well, what about this or that? But I would say thinking back to the 1920s with the bonus army. These are the folks who were promised money after fighting in the First World War. And they said, hey, you're going to give us money. And, of course, Herbert Hoover basically, there was a shanty town that was made, I believe, around Washington, D.C. And the ex-Rainbow Division member, the ex-Rainbow Division officer, none other than future General of the Army, Douglas MacArthur, was called in. And he helped break that up. They can allow these things, once again, I think that sometimes you have to listen to what your enemy has to say. But when you hear these folks and they say, you can't, we have to start up, set up shop and set up these bases in places where the bourgeoisie do not want them. All right, or set them up where the bourgeoisie don't care. They care about Washington, D.C. They care about the St. John's Episcopal Church being spray painted with Baz on the side. They care about those types of things. They care about that. Which is something that needs to be said. They care about those issues. Yeah. So I think that's what needs to be said. Let me see here. Police establishing a perimeter. Okay, this is in front of St. John's Church. Let me go ahead and show this video right quick. There we go. Once again, this is breaking 911. I'll give him credit. So there we go. And just the police setting stuff up. People getting mad. You see all the boomers, taking their photos. Oh my gosh, the police are fascist. So with that, I don't think that's going to... Basically, I don't think that, the Baz is going to do that much necessarily. But, take it for what it is. So, let's move on to the old stuff, which is the CHOP. I was watching a video, and I'll reveal it. I'll just be honest. I saw Memology 101, and you can take him with a grain of salt and say, oh, he's a fascist. You go ahead and do that. That's fine. But I will say that, he's one of the guys that's actually showing videos. And, so apparently this guy saw a little bit of a shooting that happened on the street, and they up and took the guy's phone. They didn't know how to shut off his live stream, so they ended up, just going through his phone and finding out his name was Sean, this and that, and they kind of just doxed him right there, in a certain way. I mean, that word doxing is used a little bit too loosely. Maybe I'm overplaying it, but so we saw that this was set up. You know what? I'll go ahead and post a link. I'll go ahead and post the linky. Let's see here. Memology 101. Let me go ahead and type that in. There we go. And Zavia. Like I say, I understand that it's his work, and I'm not going to. So I'll let y'all enjoy it. I'll let y'all get your own feel from that. I'll go ahead and post it here. And once this is posted up, I'll go ahead and post it there too. There we go. So, yeah. I mean, basically, we, you can get your own intelligence from that. Basically, he saw the video. He's hiding behind something. They said, "Are you armed?" Okay, well, just go ahead and stay here. That's the one guy. And then a brother came up, and he's like, "You ain't filming shit." Takes his stuff and says, "I know this guy, John, this and that." So they ended up going to the edge, and they're like, "Oh, well." So once again, they are no better than the people that they claim to hate. And of course, this is something that ideologues will write off, and they will say, no, it's, meant to be this way and that way, and, everything else. You have to remember is that a lot of the time, there is a lot of I'm trying to think of the word now. There's basically a lot of subterfuge and a lot of apologize, this sort of apologia that has to be said. It's like, well, that didn't work out the way we wanted it to. It's like, but we can still blame the fascists and all this type of thing. It could have been the fascists that done this. I was watching this one guy who I'll just say it, American Johnson. And he was saying basically is, hey, oh, well, yeah, I mean, there's one died and, it was a drive-by, this and that. He said, well, it could have been a fascist. It could have been a cop, but, and if it was a leftist that did it, we should be all this sort of, you have to remember, folks, this is a form of advertising. It's a form of public opinion. Is that they changed it from Chaz to Chop. Because, of course, they said, well, we didn't vote on that term. Oh, we didn't vote on it. That's probably part of it. But I think more realistically, it was that they decided, this idea that it's an autonomous zone is ridiculous because we know that's a lie. Because, of course, we've seen footage already that, hey, let's get pizzas and, we're still going to have the city clean up trash, this and that. They claim it's volunteers, but come on. They even left 12 porta potties, as I said in the first video that we did on Chaz back then. So we see, I kind of repeat myself here, but basically, so we see the whole way that this is being advertised and the way that it's being shown. This is this is how your public opinion is going to be shown. Once again. And of course, they say, no, the looters and everything like that, it's mostly non-violent, this and that. Oh, but it's just silly at the end of the day. It really is. These types of things going on. I stayed up way too late. I stayed until like 6 a.m., bro. Why did I do that? But here I am doing a video because I wanted to get some clout, talking at least a little bit about the Black House autonomous zone and the fact that they at least spray painted. I mean, I've heard reports a little bit here that they tried to set it on fire. I'm not going to go there. I'm going to try to be somewhat responsible and not say that because that's a little bit of fear mongering. I'm trying to be a little bit better about that. But I think that's all I really have to say. Like I say, the So we'll see where this strategy is going, folks. I do want to mention this, though, before I go. I've seen this this deep-seated dislike for the Hill, and more specifically Rising, and Crystal Ball and Sagar and Jetty. I talked about this already, but we've seen that everyone's going after them, and they're saying, well, basically they're proto-fascists and they're, just grifters, this and that. I'm not going to simp for either one of them. I watch it here and there. Yeah, I think that Crystal Ball, I'm not going to simp too hard, but yeah. I stayed up till midnight. Oh, based, bro. What I will say is, I think it's just silly to keep going at people like that. It's silly to, once again, they, to a point is that they say that fascism is the only one that uses the enemy is at one time strong, but is weak at the same time. It's like, you guys do the same thing. It's literally the Spider-Man pointing at Spider-Man meme. That's literally what the fuck it is. But, whatever at this point, whatever. I just think it's ridiculous. I really do. And you get that sense from people. But they need the enemy. They need, it's like, oh, the fascists are infighting this and that. Oh, I mean, who really cares? The thing is that infighting is going to happen everywhere. And I know that's cope to a point, and you can just say, yeah. I'll just say, yeah, it is. It is cope. But ultimately, my real take is this. I'm tired of politics already. I don't blame you. Hopefully I'll get to the gym tomorrow and I'm going to, infighting is pretty common. Yeah, it's common everywhere. It doesn't matter where you're at, but, it's funny how, they'll be so mad at the fash for being like, oh, well, these anarchists who will be like, oh, I can't believe the fascists, were happy about people dying. No, it's that people expected that to happen, and that, some of it is sociopathy. Sure, of course. But, people shouldn't be surprised by that either, We shouldn't be surprised by those types of things. And, the fact is that now another person is shot in the chop. And the guy said on stream, this is the end of the chop. And of course, this, we shall see what happens. But yeah, I mean, these things are, the coming violence will sort out all this antiquated obsession with ideology. Exactly. Yeah. Exactly. They will The thing is that all these different people that, stand, different writers or this and that, everything's going to coalesce around basically these sorts of people and that sort of people. Yeah. We'll sort out all this, obsession between, the Bolsheviks and the this and that. I'm still subscribed to Bernie Sanders, and he did this they made a video about Eugene Debs. And I was just like, oh, okay. I mean, it was kind of interesting. Of course, it was narrated by Danny Glover, who turned out it was he's more of a hippie back in the day who, who had his time on Haight-Ashbury and that type of thing. But it was mildly interesting, but it was ultimately cope because, like Bernie, you can go ahead and keep talking about socialism all you want to, and you can keep talking about this and that. The thing is that you had your chance, my friend, and you can talk to your colleagues like AOC all you want to, but the thing is that AOC has made her choice, and she will now simply put on the mask of progressivism and will continue to push this and that. This is the whole type of thing of whether or not you should enter into the system and try to change it from the inside or tear it down from the outside. That old bugaboo. It really is. It's an old bugaboo that it doesn't make any sense at this point. I mean, is there anything else? Is there anything else I need to talk about? Like I say, the Black House Autonomous Zone. Like I say, I don't think much is going to last. They're trying to do the same things that they did. They're just trying to replicate it. I know that there's one in North Carolina. You know, there's an autonomous zone there. I forget where. Let me see here. Autonomous zone in North Carolina. Okay, Asheville, North Carolina. Here we go. Well, there we go. June 14th, police dismantle newly created autonomous zone. There we go. Short-lived, may try again. There we go. Okay, here we go. Let me look at this video here right quick. Whoa! Bruh. Let's stop right there. Hold on. I'm going to show y'all. This is, oh my gosh, yeah. Left-wing version of Ron Paul. Yeah. Hold on. I got to show y'all this. Hold on. Whoa, mama. Oh, mama. Whoa. What is that? Oh, my good. Okay.
I got a quick video here about autonomous zone update.
This is.
So there was a country. People are gathered. And you try again?
This is why people. I'm just going to tell you this right now. This is one of the reasons why people ultimately don't join the left. These are the types of people that you have to claim as comrades. These types of people. I mean, look, I'm no prize. Look, I'll say that right up front. I'm no prize. I'm not pretty. But Lord have mercy. God bless. Oh, Lord have mercy. How can you have...
And maybe the second time won't work. Maybe the third time won't work.
Oh, I'm sorry. Oh, that's too much. Taido. That's too much. That's too much in Mandarin. But yeah, Taidola. Oh my! I can't. Yeah, I can't look at that. That is. Oof. Like I say, man, it's gonna be different wherever you go. And some people are going to, some governments, state governments are going to hold on as long as they can. Others are going to just let it happen and will immediately wave the white flag. It's going to be different wherever you go. I'm being very vague on purpose. But I would say that that's where we stand. Golly, I can't. Oh, the ridiculousness is up to 1,000, and I think I really am done. I think I've said my piece on it. I'm exhausted. I said it way too late. Yeah, it's going to stagnate in Georgia. Yeah, Georgia. I mean, with Georgia, I mean, I've never been to Georgia, so I can't really speak on it. But I imagine outside of Atlanta, Georgia, is a fairly rural. It's still a fairly, strong southern state. Texas, where I'm just going to dox myself a little bit, but, Texas is mixed. It's like, you got Austin, Houston, Dallas, Fort Worth. But then there's other places outside of that, But Georgia, it is what it is. And you don't really see, you still have this kind of liberal idea of, the blue states pay the red states, for the blue states pay for all the red states, welfare, this and that. Oh, this sort of elitist mindset. It's like, we pay for you scumbags. And that mindset still exists on the larger left as well. Even though they claim to be against liberalism, they still have that sort of, they're just dumb hicks down there in, Georgia or wherever the case may be. And that sort of attitude is not going to get them anywhere. I'm sorry if I'm blanking out. I'm sorry. I know that if I'm not close to the mic, then it starts to robot, so I'll try not to do that. Sorry. Anyway. But yeah. So there is that sort of, this idea, once again, that class consciousness, I've always said, and I will continue to say, go ahead and talk shit. Go ahead and proclaim class consciousness and say, black and white and Hispanic and, Mexican and, Puerto Rican, they can all get along and they'll all overthrow capitalism. And then, of course, all I have to do is ask the simple question, what comes after that? Do you think that those differences in culture, those differences in language, those differences in work ethic, those differences in anything else, do you think that those are ever going to come up? And of course, they'll say, well, that's all reactionary stuff. And they don't have an answer for it. They'll just gish gallop and they'll find another way to talk about it. That's why I'll always say, yeah, go ahead and talk about your class consciousness. It's temporary, though. Once capitalism, quote unquote, or even once the police are gone and organized society is gone, guess what? When worst comes to worst, my peoples come first. That's how it's going to be. And that's always going to be that's always going to be how it's going to be set up. Where, hey, hey, hermano, I don't really care for you necessarily, but you're Puerto Rican like me. Boricua, Boricua pride, baby, That's the, just in case, Boricua, I was listening to too much Big Pun. That you got that song, I'm not a player, I just crush a lot. In the end, of course, they got that singer, the brother singer, Joe, and he goes, Boricua, morena, Boricua, morena. That's, that's the extent of my Spanish that I've learned, other than words like aquí or algodón, which is cotton, I think. Other than that, I can barely speak Spanish. It's kind of sad. I've lived in Texas this long and I can barely speak Spanish. Anyway, I think I've, I'm trying to give y'all some funny stuff. But yeah, I think I'll leave it there, folks. So as always, y'all just do what you got to do to survive, baby. And I can't knock you. Ultimately, I hold the view, don't hate the player, hate the game. That's all I do. I don't hate you. I just hate the game. Even these left-wing folks, I don't necessarily hate them, but they've given themselves over to a particular section of the game that isn't going to help you in the long run. This idea, your ideas, yeah, I mean, they may have some value, but in terms of actually working, it's a whole different thing. Anyway, I hope y'all have a good night. See you later. Bye-bye. And of course, let me thank Joseph Altarkawi and of course GSP for making their comments. I appreciate that. I should always be appreciative of the people that come in these streams here, as much as I just ramble on for a little bit, just kind of slowly becoming the boomer that I wish I didn't become, but I just accept it. Anyway, goodbye.